Thanks for joining us on Plus TV Africa. I'm Lakwe Banjo. The Independent National Electoral Commission has begun the distribution of sensitive materials to the 16 local government areas of Ekiti State ahead of Saturday's governorship poll. Abdul Ganiyu Olayinka Raji, the resident electoral commissioner in Ekiti State, confirmed the distribution of materials while speaking to the briefing journalists. Our correspondent Benga Aborowa is in Ekiti and he gives us a situation report during the distribution.
About 15 parties were represented yesterday during the distribution, responding to our invitation that the materials will be distributed yesterday. They were all satisfied with the distribution. On top of it all the vehicles that we used were equipped with tracking devices, and then we were tracking the vehicles as they were moving until they got to their destinations and when they were coming back, until all of them came back here. And even up to today, we are still tracking the vehicles to ensure that none of our vehicles will go back anywhere and carry any materials, or we will be accused of that. So we can show records of where our vehicles have moved to. By 7 a.m., we will be ready at the polling units, even though the election will start by 8 a.m. and it will end by 2. By 2, if we have a lot of people on the queue, we will not allow anybody to join the queue again, but the election will continue until we exhaust all the people on the queue. Please, I want to appeal again for people to come out early enough to ensure that they will come and exercise their franchise rights.
With less than 24 hours to the Ekiti State's governorship elections, security operatives have reportedly arrested the People's Democratic Party deputy governorship candidate Kazeem Deji Ogunshaki and 3 other members of the State House of Assembly. State Governor Ayodele Fayose said this in a tweet yesterday with the caption, "Ekiti under siege again." He said that the residence of Kazeem Ogunshaki by armed policemen, where 3 members of the House were arrested, 2 with their whereabouts unknown. Governor Fayose's claim was also backed up by his special advisor on public communication and new media, Lere Olayinka, in a tweet where he named Wale Ayeni, Dr. Samuel Omotosho and Musa Arogundade as the members of the House arrested. The APC says the deployment of 30,000 police officers to Ekiti is necessary to ensure peace and order during the governorship election in the state on Saturday. The party stated its position in a statement issued by its National Publicity Secretary, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, in Abuja on Thursday. The party's position was in response to claims by the PDP that the policemen were deployed to harass its supporters to favor APC's governorship candidate, Dr. Kayode Fayemi. As usual with elections, extra security deployment is routine to keep the peace for credible and transparent elections. With PDP's claim in its press statement, it is obvious that its leadership does not have the facts of the actual events in Ekiti State, or it's deliberately attempting to divert public attention, APC stated. It described the attitude of Governor Ayodele Fayose of Ekiti on Wednesday as comical, saying it was clearly contrived to give the public impression that he was being persecuted. The Ekiti Commissioner of Police, Mr. Ahmed Bello, will be holding a press conference today to discuss the state of security in Ekiti State and the preparedness of his men to maintain law and order during Saturday's elections. The Nigeria Police Force deployed 30,000 officers for the gubernatorial elections. This decision has drawn criticisms from different sections. Some are of the opinion that the mere presence was intimidating for an election and not war. The police says Ekiti is a flashpoint when it comes to politicking, and deploying 30,000 officers was not an over-deployment, but providing adequate coverage for any security situations that may arise before, during and after the elections. Plus TV Africa correspondent will bring us more updates on the state of security in Ekiti as it prepares for Saturday's elections. President Buhari has communicated his decision to withhold assent to 4 bills to the National Assembly. The presidential decision was contained in a letter read to the members by the Speaker, Yakubu Dogara, at the start of the day's proceedings. The bills are the Corporate Manslaughter Bill 2018, Agricultural Credit Scheme Bill 2018, National Child Protection Bill, and Court and Tribunal Standard Scale Fines Bill. The president gave reasons for rejecting the bills, and the Corporate Manslaughter Bill, Buhari said several of its provisions were inconsistent with the 1999 Constitution. On the Child Protection Bill, Buhari noted that the proposed agency would merely duplicate the functions of already established agencies and the Ministry of Women Affairs. He turned back to the Court and Tribunal Bill for being ambiguous and conflicting with extant laws. The National Emergency Agency has said it's received a batch of 160 assisted voluntary returnees from Libya who were stranded in failed attempts to reach different European countries. The planning officer of NEMA, Mr. Segun Afolayan, told the news agency of Nigeria in Lagos on Friday that the returnees arrived at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, at 9:45 p.m. on Thursday. Afolayan said that the returnees landed at the cargo wing of the airport aboard Libyan airline flight with registration number 5ADMG. He said that they were brought back through the assistance of the International Organization for Migration. Cameroon's 85-year-old president, Paul Biya, announced Friday that he plans to run for a 7th consecutive term in office in the October election. "I will be your candidate in the next presidential election," Biya said, who has been head of state in the West African country for 35 years. He wrote this on his Twitter account. Noura Hussein, a Sudanese teenager, gained global attention in May after a Sharia court law sentenced her to death for stabbing her husband as he tried to rape her. This triggered an outpouring of support globally under the hashtag Justice for Noura, including an online petition with over 1.5 million signatures appealing for clemency. Last month, a Sudanese court overturned the death sentence and jailed her for 5 years with a fine of 337 Sudanese pounds, in equivalence to $18,600. But campaigners working with Hussein's legal team in a new development have now filed an appeal seeking her unconditional freedom with no fine or jail term to be served. They argue that the reduced sentence was unfair as she had acted in self-defense. A Dakar court jailed a group of teachers for up to 5 years for cheating in high school exams. A lawyer for the defendant said on Thursday that 42 people, including a headmaster, teachers and students, were accused of charges including criminal, conspiracy, fraud, and fraudulently obtaining undue material benefits, after baccalaureate papers were leaked in July 2017. The scandal resulted in the cancellation of French and history geography tests after the topics were circulated on social media, including WhatsApp. A headmaster at the provincial high school was sentenced to 5 years in prison and fined 500,000 francs, which is equivalent to 760 euros, after the trial on May 24th. A teacher in Dakar was given 2 years and a fine of 18 million francs, in addition to a confiscation of property, according to the lawyer. Other sentences handed down to pupils and teachers range from 2 months suspended to 1 year. And when we return, we'll bring you updates on President Trump's visit to the United Kingdom and more. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. On the foreign scene, Donald Trump has said the UK will probably not get a trade deal with the US if the Prime Minister's Brexit plan goes ahead. He told the Sun's newspaper that the PM's plan would probably kill the deal, as it would mean the US would be dealing with the European Union instead of with the UK. Downing Street has not yet reacted to Mr. Trump's remarks, whilst Theresa May has been making the case for a US free trade deal with Mr. Trump on his first UK visit as president. She said Brexit was an opportunity to create growth in the UK and the US. The blast occurred at a plant which makes chemicals for the food and pharmaceutical industries. An explosion at an industrial park in China's Sichuan province has left 19 people dead and 12 others injured. In a statement quoted by Reuters, the authorities in Jiangnan County said the blast happened at a chemical plant run by Yibin Hengda Technology. Photos on Chinese social media showed a huge fire and plumes of smoke rising from the facility. It is not clear what caused the explosion. 28 civilians were killed in an airstrike on an Islamic State-held area in Syria's eastern province of Deir al-Zur, a monitoring group has reported on Friday. Planes hit an ice factory late on Thursday near the village of al-Susa in the city of Al-Bu Kamal near the Iraqi border. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights has reported this. It was not immediately known if the strike was carried out by an Iraqi plane or by the US-led coalition. However, the state-run Syrian news agency accused the US-led coalition of carrying what it described as a massacre against civilians. Sana has put the death toll at more than 30, claiming the dead are mostly women and children. And we'll take the business report shortly after this break. The monthly Federation Account Allocation Committee has been suspended indefinitely. Yesterday's scheduled meeting was the briefest, lasting less than an hour. Addressing reporters, Chairman of the Commissioners Forum, Mr. Mahmood Yunusa, said the meeting can only be reconvened after the process is strengthened. According to him, the next meeting is a function of when they finish. What we are looking for is the process to be strengthened. Once the process is strengthened, there is no need for this fight. Mr. Yunusa said that the decision of the state government and other members of the FAAC to oppose the NNPC's paltry remittances is about the system and the process and which they are working on. This is the third time the May accruals in the Federation accounts for disbursement in June 2018 has been postponed. This has crippled states and federal authorities from paying civil servants their June salaries. Still ahead on Plus TV News is our roundup on sports and entertainment news. We'll be back in a moment.
And in entertainment, Nigerian Afro-pop singer Tiwa Savage has announced the Savage Tour concert at the Indigo Arena in London. The mother of one is set to put on a one-woman show, which will hold on the 24th of August this year. She took to social media to share the good news with her fans with the caption, "Time is almost here. London, I promise you Carnival weekend is going to be bananas." Recently, Adekunle Gold held a sold-out solo concert at the O2 Arena in London. Wizkid also made the headline with his sold-out Afro Republic concert at the O2 Arena this year. After the iconic feat by Wizkid, Davido is also planning to shut down the O2 Arena next year in January. On Thursday morning, nominations for the Emmys were announced by Backlist's Ryan Eggold and The Handmaid's Tale's Samira Wiley. Some of the highlights include the nomination of the first woman of Asian descent, Sandra Oh, for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series, Killing Eve. Anthony Bourdain, who passed away in June, has also been posthumously nominated for his work. This year, 36 first-timers are welcome to the nomination pool, including Jessica Biel and Penelope Cruz. Celebrities with the highest nominations are 7 in number, with Donald Glover and Bill Hader bagging 4 nominations too. A major contender for an EGOT, which is an acronym for stars who have bagged an Emmy, a Grammy and an Oscar and a Tony Award as well. And John Legend is joining the list of EGOT winners for his nomination this year. With 22 nominations, Game of Thrones is now the most Emmy-nominated drama in history. The 70th Primetime Emmy Awards is set to take place on Monday, the 17th of September at Microsoft Theatre in Los Angeles. Here's a quick look at some of the nominations announced by Ryan Eggold and Samira Wiley.
To complete this morning's Emmy nominations, these are the nominees for Lead Actor in a Comedy Series.
These are the nominees for Lead Actress in a Comedy Series.
These are the nominees for Lead Actor in a Drama Series.
These are the nominees for Lead Actress in a Drama Series.
These are the nominees for Outstanding Reality Competition Program. To complete
Still in entertainment news, Taufik Abijako, a 19-year-old Nigerian singer, has been hailed the youngest designer to present a collection at New York's Fashion Week. Reports say he started in the business 2 years ago with the aim of making impactful statements with his designs. The Council of Fashion Designers of America say Taufik pays homage to his past by celebrating his West African culture through a contemporary perspective. His previous collections include Cruel Hands and Hooligans. Taufik's label will be debuting its Spring-Summer 2019 collection at the Men's New York Fashion Week. And that's it on entertainment news. Up next is the very best in sports right after this.
Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko. Chelsea finally confirms the sacking of title-winning manager Antonio Conte, but the Blues opted for just 61 words in their statement as they failed to thank the Italian. The statement on the club's website read, "During Antonio Conte's time at the club, we won our 6th league title and 8 FA Cup. In the title-winning season, the club set a then record 30 wins in a 38-game Premier League season, as well as the club record 13 consecutive league victories. We wish Antonio Conte every success in his future career." And confusion dominated recent weeks as Conte, who was expected to leave the role after the FA Cup win, returned to take pre-season training at the start of the week. And Mauricio Sarri is now clear to take over from Conte with just 28 days until the start of the new Premier League season. And Chelsea eventually agreed a compensation package which could be worth up to £9 million with Conte, who had 1 year left on his contract. And Shedran Shaqiri's medical is underway ahead of completing his £13 million move to Liverpool from Stoke City. And the Swiss winger flew into Merseyside yesterday with personal terms already agreed, and Shaqiri's medical test started before 9 a.m. today, and if everything goes to plan, there should be an announcement in the next 24 hours. And he would become Jurgen Klopp's 3rd summer signing following the arrival of Naby Keita and Fabinho. And still on the transfers, Manchester United are expected to make a huge offer this summer for England's outstanding World Cup defender Harry Maguire. And the Old Trafford club would have to pay as much as £50 million to price Maguire from Leicester City, whose rich Thai owners will fight hard to keep him. And Maguire was signed for £17 million from Hull City last year, but his value has skyrocketed after his stellar performances in Russia. And England manager Gareth Southgate is known to have first selected Maguire because of his mental toughness. And Maguire could replace Phil Jones or Chris Smalling in Jose Mourinho's lineup, as he has done with England. But one obstacle is the transfer window closing early on the 9th of August, when all England's players will only have just returned from their holidays. And that's it on Sport Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Thanks, Udoka. And that's our news roundup of events. We'll be back later with more stories making the headlines. Do join us. I'm Lakbe Banjo. Do have a great day.